With the current meta of 3-shot weapons and really good snipers, it's a lot more beneficial for players to camp or to be passive and hold angles. The QQ9 buff definitely breathed in fresh air with players beginning to play more aggressive and use movement to counter the current meta. And with the upcoming Season 3 update, we're hoping to enter into a more aggressive and fast-paced meta and give the players the decision to camp, be aggressive, or be tactical depending on the type of player they want to be. Being tactical, in other words, a hybrid between passive and aggressive, and is a much better way to play the game. That is why I made this tutorial on playing passive a few days back. Today we're going to talk tips and tricks on how to be aggressive, from your loadouts to your settings, and even using DESYNC to your advantage. Grab a pen or a piece of paper because you might wanna take down notes. Make sure you turn on notifications if you don't wanna miss any of the future uploads, and to like the video if you want to see more of this type of content. We're setting a goal of 3,000 likes for this video, and we'll be doing our first live stream of 2021 in this channel. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. For our builds, we're looking to maximize our mobility while utilizing guns with high fire rate. We aren't looking to be too accurate, therefore guns with high fire rate can be more forgiving if we miss shots while we're doing all kinds of movement. We also want to have faster ADS speed, so we can react quickly whenever we spot an enemy. Another important thing we want to have in our builds is good movement speed. We're gonna be moving around the map a lot, and you want to move fast whenever you get into gunfights or get out of sticky situations. Here's some guns you can use to rush with their gunsmith builds: the QQ9, the QXR, the Fennec, the Peacekeeper, the HVK-30, and the ASM-10. If you're that good or sweaty of a player, you can go ahead and rush with a shotgun or even with a sniper if you want to. But really, with Gunsmith, you can make almost any gun viable enough for rushing, so see what works for you. Going into our full loadouts, we need to be able to conceal ourselves as much as possible. Being undetected lets us lurk around the map without hesitation. With our secondary weapon, I suggest you run a suppressed pistol. Here's what I use for the deagle, and if you're watching this channel and you're using a Kimbo, then I will pray for you. A pistol will be a smarter choice because it's faster to switch to your secondary than wait and complete the reload. You can also use melee weapons if you're feeling edgy. Heading over to our lethal, we're going with 3 choices. You can go with either the Semtex, Thermite, or Molotov. We're not going to use these as primary weapons, okay? We'll use these for area denials and get rid of someone blocking our way, hiding behind a head glitch. We're going with smokes for tactical equipment to blind the enemy's vision on firing lanes. This allows us to move around without being seen, while the sound of smoke grenade masks our footsteps. Moving on to perks, it'll be smart to use lightweight to grant us 10% faster sprinting, the best choice for rushing or slaying. For a green perk, we're going with Ghost if we're going with a suppressed build. Quick Fix heals you after you get a kill, so that's a good choice too. Another good choice is Cold Blooded if you hate being paralyzed by the Shock RC and getting targeted by sentry guns or stealth choppers. The blue perk slots, a no-brainer, we're going with Dead Silence. Do I really need to explain why? So that's it for a basic rushing loadout. Feel free to switch up some things if something else works for you. You're free to choose your operator skill, but personally I'm still going with the Annihilator or the Gravity Spikes. Your operator might not mean much because male and female skins have the same hitboxes, but you can hide better if you have female operators. Something to think about. We're probably going to die a lot, so it's best to run lower score streaks. UAV, Shock RC, Hunter Killer Drone will be your main choices, with Counter UAV if you're using Quick Fix or Cold Blooded as your green perk. Use your UAV to gain more information around the map so you know where to move, and use your Shock RC as a rush buddy. Use the Hunter Killer Drone as a way to clear lanes where people are camping at. The Counter UAV is just to conceal your red dot on the minimap. Now, I don't mean using a glitch and literally get out of the map. What I mean is if you're in a map with 3 lanes, you might want to avoid using the middle lane or moving into an area with little cover. With lightweight equip, might as well use that to run the length of the map and catch enemies off guard and counter enemy flankers. Beginners tend to run out in the open, so that's a free kill for you, and players will be focused around the objective. Your main focus is to take advantage of their hyper focus and get behind them or catch them off guard while you run around the map. Moving around the map also disrupts the enemy traffic and gives your teammates the opportunity to capture the objective while you annoy and slay the enemy team. Lurk around the map and collect your kills while everyone tries to play objective and camp. One thing that's mostly asked among players is how to gain that game sense. It's not some magical or mystic power that pro players use to predict where enemies appear or where to move. Pro players take the information from the game and process it at a high speed, which gives them their own conclusions or interpretations on how will the enemy behave or when to push. The first aspect is map knowledge. Pro players have played lots of games in ranked and scrims on different maps, and they have a rough idea of how enemies behave in certain modes and maps. However, this info isn't enough for you to dominate lobbies. Another thing you can take info from is the minimap, one of the underutilized things in the game. If you didn't know, you can tap and view the full map if you or your teammate activates a UAV. This will give you more information on where you can move. The last thing is the most overlooked. It's the kill feed. Looking at the kill feed can give you information if your teammates have killed enemies or got killed themselves, therefore giving you another layer of info and an expectation on where enemies might go after dying or killing your enemies. Now, these things aren't all the things that make up for the thing that we call game sense, but you can definitely add this to your game and outsmart other players. In other words, use movement to put DESYNC to your advantage. Pro players abuse this because being the peeker gives you the edge. As I covered in my DESYNC video, take some time for the animation to appear to the enemy screen because COD Mobile is an online game, meaning you're more likely to get the first shot if you slide peek, jump peek, and even prone peek to gain advantage in a gunfight. Always keep in mind that there will always be desync and delay between your screen and the enemy screen, so you can utilize that to your favor. For example, knowing all high traffic areas and corners, pre-aim everything by slide peeking and jump peeking. Another thing you can do is to peek a corner really quick, then if you see someone or they shoot at you, re-peek by sliding or jumping to challenge them. Slide peeking is the better choice if they're farther, while jump peeking can be the better choice if they're running towards you. Most of the time, they won't expect you to re-peek. Try to experiment on how you time your re-peek so they won't be able to tell when you're going to challenge them. Constantly abusing this will grant you the opportunity to land 1 to 2 shots on the enemy before they can even see you, so use this wisely. Most of the time, you'll be in situations where you have to react fast and flick onto targets if your aim is off whenever you peek an angle or a corner. Therefore, we have to master pre-aim spots in certain maps and practice our aim in this hierarchy. Locking on targets, flicking, and your tracking. We're using tracking whenever we strafe and whenever we start bunny hopping in a gunfight. Landing those shots is more important than the movement itself, so be sure to practice it in training mode. Above all this, we have to get our settings right in order to cater to our fast-paced gameplay. First thing we can adjust is our FOV. Since we won't be engaging in much long-range gunfights, a higher field of view will be beneficial to us. This will allow us to see enemies that can be hiding in corners that we won't be able to see if we had a lower FOV. This also allows us to still see the enemy for just a bit if he slides towards you or beside you, giving us the visual information in order to react to the situation better. The other thing we want to get right is our sensitivity. Having to react quick requires us to have a high-ish sensitivity or at least a good grasp on it in order to have good aim like we talked about earlier. Mastering your sensitivity and finding your perfect sensitivity are two different things, so if you want to find out your starting point, you can watch my sensitivity video, link down below, or if you want to find out my current settings, a video on that will also be linked down below. I wasn't a good player by any means when I started playing Call of Duty Mobile, and personally I have found myself struggling with movement and rushing. That's why I developed a more tactical approach in my playstyle. I play passive most of the time, and whenever I rush, I get some success, but most of the time I fail in doing so. The main reason why I created this channel is to help other players along, as I myself improve as a player. That's why I learn things for myself first and share them with you. I have been playing more aggressive as of late, and so far I have been enjoying it. For me, it's thrilling and it definitely serves you better in learning at a faster rate. The game has been more fun for me since the meta became stale with the 3-shot weapons. With the meta change being imminent, it's a good thing that we get ahead of the curve and start learning on how to play aggressive as early as now. That's everything you need to learn in order to effectively rush and play a faster pace inside of Call of Duty Mobile. Comment down below if ever I missed anything and if there's any more tips you'd like to see. For our question of the day, would you rather be a pro player or a content creator? Let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.